we're going to make a little bird mobile display.
Isn't it a table?
Well, it's a bird table and it's a kind of bird feeding apparatus. I hope you've all been feeding the birds. At this time of the year, birds are particularly busy getting ready to do nesting, and then of course they'll be feeding their young, so it's really important to feed birds at this time of year. So what we need today is 2 pieces of card. It doesn't have to be pure white card. It can be a cornflakes packet or anything at all you want it to be, but we need 2 pieces of card. We need to turn this card into a square. RT, what makes a square a square?
It has 4 sides and the sides are meant to be all the same.
Perfect, all sides of equal length. So as we can see, this is a rectangle. So we have to make it into a square. And to do that, we're going to not measure. You can do it by measuring, but we are just going to do it this way because it's much easier for just now. A little mark there. And a little mark there. And we fold on the line. There we go. And cut this out. We will keep this bit of paper because it will become very useful later on. What we want to make is a little kind of bird table that we're going to hang up, and then we're going to hang fat balls from the bottom of it. And then we're going to see what birds will come. Now, what we need to do is turn this from a flat piece of paper into something with sides. So we need to do a little cut here, 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 and here on every corner. So all you need to do is a little cut. There you are. And they're pretty much equal in length. It doesn't have to be absolutely exact. And then what we do is we turn up the sides and give them a nice crease. Same on that one. And the same on that one. And the same on that one. There we are. Now, you can see already it's nearly a square with sides. We just get a little bit of masking tape. Masking tape is awfully useful because you can paint over it. If you use sellotape and you're painting, then the sellotape, underneath the sellotape obviously is going to be clear, and you don't want that, but you can paint over the masking tape and the paint will hold very well. So you're just masking taping the sides so that you end up with something that has an edge to it, so that your birds won't fall off their bird table. There we go. Done. Ha! Took a while, but there we are. So what we're going to do eventually is 4 little bits of string and hang it up, so we have it'll be like a mobile. Now, as it so happens, we have one painted already. Ba-ding! There you are. Painted already, a little bit darker on one side than the other. And the way it's been done, it's lovely because it actually looks like wood grain. Very special. Very cool. RT painted that for me. And
you're welcome.
She's a great girl. Thank you very much. You did well. Now, let's see. What we're going to do next is think about what birds are going to arrive on our bird table. And one of the birds I'm thinking of is a robin. Robins are not only for Christmas. Like dogs, robins aren't only for Christmas. They say dogs aren't only for Christmas. Well, robins aren't only for Christmas either. If you put out a bird table, it's almost guaranteed that the very first bird that'll come to it will be a robin. Robins seem to be attracted by people. If you go out to dig your garden, robins will appear to see if they can find any slugs. Robins they're a bit like dolphins. If you're out in a boat and there's dolphins in the area, dolphins will come and investigate the boat. And if you go out into your garden for any length of time and there's a robin nearby, very quickly you'll see the robin because he will make himself known to you. Because he's always looking for food and they kind of know that people feed robins. So we're going to try to draw a robin. Now, robins are very easy to draw. The main... Oh, I see a robin has come to the table. And what a very large robin it is. Robins are actually a little bit smaller than this bird, but he obviously has his feathers well puffed out. I've already drawn one of the robins. We have to, the bad news is you have to draw 2 robins because we want, if the mobile turns around, you want to be able to see robins on both sides and you don't want a blank side. So I've done one already and we're going to do another one very soon. As you can see, robins have this very bright, fiery, they say red breast, but it's almost more like orange breast. It's really bright and fiery. Sometimes you see a robin and he's looking very thin. That's usually in the summer, because in the summer robins have no need to puff out their feathers. But in the winter you'll see fat little robins, and they're not
like this
fat
wee
at all.
fella.
Yeah, like this wee fella here, exactly. Only they won't be quite as big as that. I think that's a ginormous robin.
Like massive robins.
When in the winter they puff out all their feathers in the same way as we would put layers of clothes on. They puff out their feathers and trap layers of air inside. So there we go, that's our robin. And what we're going to do now is draw a robin, and robins are easy to draw. If you look at this robin, you'll see that his head isn't very distinct from his body. It's almost a straight line. So that's what we're going to do now. I shall set you down, pretty robin. There you go, you sit here. In fact, you can watch us doing our work. So, we're going to draw a robin. And because that one faces that way, I'm going to draw it the other way. Easy way to do this is to double up your paper. Then when you cut out your robin, you're going to cut out both at the same time. You're going to end up with 2. We need 2 because this robin, as you will see, is only going to have 1 leg. We're going to divide them up and you're going to end up with 2 legs. So I haven't gone quite mad in drawing a robin with 1 leg. This one only has 1 leg. I always, when I'm doing birds, start with the beak. Different birds have different beaks, and a robin has a nice little short beak, just like that. Then his head comes up from his beak. As I said, the head is not very distinctive from the body. It's just a little indentation at the back of his neck, and then his little wing comes out here. And his wing goes down to about there, and then he has a little tail. And then that joins up with his leg. Now I'm going to draw a very strange looking leg here because I'm putting a big tab on his foot. He looks like he has a ginormous club foot. But you will see later that that's the bit that sticks on the top of the bird table and that keeps him in place. So we're doing that for a purpose. He has a nice round fat body and that goes up to the beak, and he's pretty much that shape. His eye is placed just behind his beak. And if you do his eye quite big, leave a little bit of white in the centre of his eye, and then it really does look like he's looking. And it's easier to do that while it's easier to put the white in as part of the eye shape rather than trying to draw it on later, because that makes it very difficult. It's so easy if you just leave that little white bit in the centre. So there he is, our little robin, and RT here is going to colour him the same as this one. I've left out all the colouring pencils, and we are going to use a felt tip for, as I said before, I'm not really for felt tips, but occasionally they're very useful for the brightness of his red breast, which is what you really need with a robin, because robins with very dull breasts are not good. We want this robin to really shine out, so we are going to use a felt tip just for that. The rest are all colouring pencils. So I'm going to hand over to you, RT.
Okay.
There we are, RT. That's brilliant.
Well, we're doing a nice red breast first.
Yes, that's the most important part of a robin. And just look how behind the red breast there is the very light colours. So just be careful that you don't make his breast too big. And remember that a robin is made out of lots of little feathers, so nice little strokes just add to the feathery look. And his red breast goes right up behind his eye. If you look, you'll see his eye is actually red. Goes right up behind his beak and just round his eye. That's lovely. And then not too far behind, yeah, you can nearly stop. You can start making it kind of feathery, so that you see that by making it feathery, you just use little strokes and let some white appear. That's lovely, you're doing a great job. And yes, behind his breast there's little bits of bluey grey. That's excellent. That's lovely, well done. He looks very strange with his big club foot, but that's what will be used to.
Club foot.
There is a little bit of orange behind his eye as well, if you look on him.
Yeah.
Just behind his eye. The eye is actually placed inside the orange. Yeah, perfect. That's lovely. Just a little bit, that's perfect. Lovely.
Is the rum going golfing or something?
Yeah.
Is he a golfer?
Golfing robin. Let me see how I'm zooming the wrong way, folks. I do apologise because I'm not very good at this. I'm not the camera woman generally. RT's our brilliant camera woman. There we go. Now we've got our robin all done and dusted, and what we're going to do now is cut him out. When you're cutting him out, try to cut off the black line that you originally used to draw him, because you don't want him to have a kind of black halo. He'll look so much better if he hasn't got that black line around him. So just cut it off. It'll make him slightly smaller, but that's the right size. Robins are not very big birds. Now this weird piece will soon be used, and it'll just make him stand up. Be careful cutting out his leg, for you really don't want to cut it off. That would be a complete disaster. So as you can see, he looks so much better once he has got rid of his black halo. Sounds like a bad rock band, a black halo. There we go! Our robin! Fantastic. Now you can stop filming for me. Out our robins. We have coloured both of them, and now we're going to have to put them together. The main thing is that we don't stick their little legs together, because this robin has one leg, this robin has one leg, and we want the robin to end up with two legs. So we put them together, we add a little bit of glue just to the very top of the robin, and you leave this bit clear of glue. You don't want any glue on his chest or leg, and we just stick the two together. If it is not exact, well, it will be actually. It is pretty much exact. There we go, we stick them together. Need a wee bit more glue on his tail, because the tail has to use only one tail. There we go. See, we need a wee.
He's not a wagtail. He doesn't have two tails.
He's not a wagtail, that's right. His tail comes together, so we make sure that the tail sticks together. That's it. Perfect. Now, he's a robin with two legs, as you can see, and have a great big tab, but we don't worry about the tab, because what we do with the tab is we fold the tab in like that, and then we will stick him on the bird table as so. And we'll actually do that, well, we could do that now because we have our bird table all ready for it. So we put a little bit of glue on the bottom. Where the tab is, we've just folded the tab back, we've put a little bit of glue, and there he is on the bird table. And he has 2 legs. He has 2 legs, however, he has, sadly, we have to get him standing up there.
Well, you can paint that over.
Yeah, I'm also going to put a tiny wee bit of masking tape, just a tiny bit on this leg, on this little foot to put him down, and then we'll just cover it because we want him to stand nice and firm. We don't want him wiggling around on the...
Wiggle.
Well, he can bob about a little bit, but we want to, and then we put a little bit of paint just, there he is, and we put a little bit of paint on the tab so that you can't see it anymore. I'm doing it just roughly with my finger because I am a rough person who does rough things. But suddenly now you can see him standing up. You can get...
I'm really zoomed into this.
Good! He stands!
You missed a wee tiny
He's not sticking
bit.
together and I missed a bit, yes. I'll need a brush really.
You missed,
There
oh,
we go.
oh, no. That's really blurry.
How do we see? We need to get his beaks stuck together. It's not actually stuck enough. I should have a paintbrush and I don't have one. So I'm doing this very roughly. Let's see, stick the top of his head. Let's get him really looking pristine and then you can cut that bit out. Have I got a bird on my shoulder? There!
No!
Oh!
He's now on your hands.
Sure it is. Right, where's that black? Is he looking okay? He's
Yeah.
not looking too bad now. Yeah, really a little bit on his foot. And is that foot looking good? It is. Right, so let's fill him again. So here he is.
I was filming the whole time.
Ah! Oh well.
I was filming the whole time.
There we go. Oh, I noticed something. His leg on this side is white. So we'll stick our felt tip in and we'll make sure that he has a little bit of colour on that leg as well, so it's not showing up white. And probably the same with the other side. Yes. So he has a little bit of colour on that leg as well.
You didn't even say to stop filming a video on him, so I was just like, okay, just keep videoing
Keep
this.
going. Well, why not? There we are. One robin standing on our bird table.
You were a little bit too high there, but that's fine.
Oh, sorry. There you are. One robin
There you go, thank you.
standing on our bird table. Looking quite cool. Is he all right?
Hey, buddy.
Ooh. Tweet, tweet. Tweet, tweet. Well done. Excellent. Now, not only do we have a robin on our bird table, we also have a blue tit. The blue tit is going to hang from the bottom of
Right
the
there.
bird table. He's going to be eating these fat balls. So there we go. So we have to make a little fat ball.
Oh look, what's this little birdie?
Oh my goodness, what has arrived on the table? A blackbird. Now we have a huge ginormous robin and we have a little blackbird.
It's a baby blackbird.
Should be the other way round, folks. Blackbirds are much, much bigger than robins. This one, however, is a very clever little bird because he can sing. Oh wow. It even sounds like a real blackbird's call. Shall we listen again? And if you folks get up nice and early in the morning,
Doubt
just
that.
at first light, or even
Coat your
better,
heads
in
coat.
the evening, just when you're going to bed, and listen out your window, you could be very lucky and hear the little blackbirds call, because they're singing at the moment like crazy little creatures. The male blackbirds are singing to attract the females. And also, the loudness of their song makes other males think, oh, he's got a very loud song, I better stay clear from here. so they sing very loudly. Let's hear the song one more time. Wow, a singing blackbird. But as I say, definitely other way round. This blackbird should be much bigger than the robin. This is a very tiny blackbird, but in real life they're much, much bigger. Right, let's get busy, folks. Now we've got two birds watching us. So we're going to make our fat ball. Maybe they're attracted by these fat balls. Maybe that's what it is. So easy way to make these little bird container fat balls in papercraft. And you just draw a little bit at the top, like so. You draw a lid for your container. You draw the sides of the container. You go across the bottom. And the same on the other side. Then you put the little strips in. And the bit at the bottom to hold it all together. And we just have to colour them in nice and quickly. I'm just using a felt tip. You could paint it, which would probably be better. But we have to be fairly quick when we're doing things on the internet, because you folks would get bored if we took forever at doing things. So we do it nice and quickly with a felt tip. As you can see, I'm not the most careful colourer inner, but it does the job. I'm being very fast, as fast as I can. Speedy eco. And then a little bit at the bottom. And then we're going to cut out the little bits in between, because we want to be able to see our fat balls inside. So we get a pair of scissors, and here they are. Now this bit, folks, and children and adults and everybody, you have to do really carefully. Do not have your finger behind where you're going to stick in the scissors. A way to do it is if you do a little, hold the edge of the paper and just make a little hole. Whoops, there's it. If I opened the scissors it would help. Make a little hole far, far away from your fingers and far, far away from the table. It's just a little rough hole sticking like that is enough for you to get the scissors in, and then you can snip around. The amount of times that I have stabbed myself with a pair of scissors in doing this, especially at art classes when you've lots of children all wanting their things cut out at the one time, is innumerable. And it's not a good idea. Do not stab yourself with the scissors.
Because it hurts.
It hurts, basically. Yes, it hurts. That's the main reason. So we just cut out a little bit in between. There's it done. And again, way far away from your hand, stick the hole into the... See, sometimes you have to get your thumb out to do it.
Or also, I've learned this, if you get a piece of blue tack...
Oh, that's a very good idea.
And you stab with the blue tack, it makes the hole same.
That's a very good idea.
It's more safer, more...
That's even more safer. If you have a bit of blue tack, put the blue tack on the back. And then that's a very clever way to do it.
That's how I do things.
Oh, you're a clever girl. Things are well thought out when RT does them. She's a really good crafter. There we go, nearly done. And then once with these two little holes cut out, it's much easier to cut out the big surround. If you do it the other way round, it's actually harder because it's much more fiddly. Having more paper to cut out the little insides with is much, much easier. So then you cut out the outside. And don't forget these little tiny bits that make the lid look more of a lid on the edge. And you need that little tab on the top. There we are, nearly done. Now, the next thing we need are the fat balls. So you need 2 of these, and then you need 4 fat balls. And we're just going to cut the fat balls out in a small circle. You don't even need to draw them. Just draw a small, or just cut out a small circle. And they don't have to be exactly regular, because guess what? Fat balls aren't exactly regular. So there we go, there's our 2 nice fat balls for the birds. And we're just going to colour them in nice and roughly with golden colours, and just very rough. You don't even want to colour them in properly, because you want a variety of colours to show. If you look at a fat ball, they're all different. Seeds and things are in them, or the good quality ones have seeds and things in them. Be careful which fat balls you do feed your birds. You don't want them just to get a load of fat. You want them to have seeds or mealworms or all sorts of different things inside them. At this time of the year, it's quite good for birds to have high energy food, because as I did say earlier, at this time of the year they are using up lots of energy singing, chasing off rivals, building nests, and just regularly finding mates and being very, very, very busy. It's a very busy time of the year for birds, and it's a really important time to feed them. So we have our little, we're making here a lovely little reminder to, no matter what we have to do inside, we can go out and feed the birds for a wee short time. Now, there we are, 2 fat balls. Then you glue them to the fat balls you already have. Just a little bit of glue. So that you have colour on each side. You can just spread it out. Lovely. And we're going to put the other side on, and again just a little bit of glue. It's far better really to use a paintbrush and stick them on that way. I'm being quite rough and ready. So you just need your glue, and on it goes. Pretty much on top, doesn't really matter. So here we are. When we've finished at the end, when we've got our strings on, we shall attach this to the bottom of the bird table. So just need a bird to come and feed off the fat balls, and we're going to put a little blue bit of blue tit on.
You were going to say bluebell?
Bluebell? No, it's a flower. Now we're going to have a little blue tit. Blue tits absolutely love fat balls, so we're going to make a little blue tit for the fat balls. Again, like the robin, we need 2, because we don't want a side that isn't coloured. So we need to make 2, and again, best way to do that, double up on your paper. Blue tits are easy birds to draw. They're very tiny. Their head and their body are almost joined together, and they are very easy to draw. So we start with an even tinier beak than the last time. And then the little head, the little back, and the little tail, and it's almost a straight line. And then his little tummy just goes round. Simple, very, very easy. His eye, again, is just behind his beak. And again, just leave that tiny little bit of white, just to give him a bit of character. We colour in our beak. And he has a little bit of black just behind his eye, and he also has a little bit of black around here.
So it looks like he's wearing a necklace.
So it looks like he's wearing a necklace, exactly, and he has a little blue cap on his head. You, Artie, are going to do the colouring of the blue tit for me, but I'm just going to put, he has a little black bit in the front of his chest, so we're going to do that, and I'm just going to mark where his wing ends. It just ends above the tail there. Okay, so we're going to try and take over again, and I will probably make a hash of it, but we'll try. And RT won't make a hash of colouring the lovely blue tit. A little bit of green on his back, a white bar on his wing. So don't forget to leave that. And the best way to do that is if you do blue on each side. Then you know you've got your white bar and it's done. And he's all blue except for a little bit of green above.
There we go.
Yes, that's a great job you're doing there. Wonderful. I'll try and zoom in. Eco, as I said, is not very good at using the camera. Certainly not as good as RT. Oh, that looks lovely. You're doing a great job. I was just going to zoom out again. Oh, I did that okay. Not so bad. And this time we're going to go with... Oh yes, there it is. A little blue tit on the tablet. Is that nice and bright? Not, oh, bright enough. There we are.
There you go.
Brilliant! RT has done a great job. We've got a little blue tit. What we need to do is cut him out, and again, same time, same way as the robin, getting rid of the big black halo around him, because he looks so much nicer without it. There we are. They are tiny little birds. Believe it or not, these are pretty much life size. They really are very small birds. The blue tit's quite a small one of the tit family. The coal tit is even smaller than a blue tit. And someday we might show you a coal tit. It's a good idea to have a little book or look up on the internet. Internet's a great thing. I used, when I was a girl, it was just a book that you had, and I had an observer's book of British birds, and I used to look it up all the time. I was always bird watching. And there we are, a good way to see birds off the bird table, and you'll very quickly, if you put out fat balls, see a blue tit. So there he is, and we're just going to get him stuck onto the fat balls. Shall we go cut them?
Ready?
Now, we have our two little blue tits, and we're going to glue them together. So this time, again, we don't want to glue the chest, because it's the chest that will go onto the fat balls. So you leave a bit at the edge. There they are, glued together. But you can glue their tails together, their heads together, but just leave a little bit at the chest, because that's how we stick them onto the fat balls. Now, the next thing that we're going to do for our blue pins,
Blue pills?
Blue tits, we are going to give them wings. I wanted to do this because blue tits are flighty wee birds. They don't always stay on the fat balls very long, and often you just see a flash of wing as off they go. So we're going to cut a little hole in the blue bird, our blue tit, just above his yellow tummy. I know that doesn't look very nice, but he will soon have wings, and I'm sure he'd rather have wings. Now, we just need a little bit of pale blue paper. These came from a common shop that sells things for just £1.
1 coin?
The pound shop. It came from the local pound shop.
Quote,
you can get
quote
lots of
unquote pound shop.
Yes, exactly. You can get lots of pastel paper in a book for just £1, which is great value for money. What we're going to do with this is make a little fan first. And I'm sure you all made a fan before. You fold one way, you turn your paper over, and you fold another way, and you turn your paper over and fold again and again, turn and fold, right till you come to the end. And that way you've got a nice little
Oh, it just zoomed into your hand.
See the way it fans out. Now, we don't want this bird to have square, angular wings at the end of his wings, so we just cut a little bit of a wing shape Just take the edges off and make it look like the shape of a wing. Do that on both sides because he has two sets of wings on each side of his body. And then we just slide the wings into the little slit. There we go, and we fold them up.
Still looks like a hummingbird.
It does a little bit, but it's actually a blue tit. And then we open the wings out a little bit so that he has wings and can fly. You don't want them exactly together.
There we go.
So there they are, and a little tiny bit of glue just at the top of his body will hold the wings in place. Perfect. Now I'm going to stick them on to the fat balls, and again you just open his tummy and stick them on. So we can now put a little bit of glue inside. Lovely bubble there, did you see the bubble?
No, I didn't pick up, I don't think.
Oh well, there's a little bubble of glue. And we just stick him on. And there he is eating the fat balls. Hold him on for a wee second. And there we are. One blue tit eating our fat balls. We are very nearly finished. So we're going to put our string onto the bird table. To do that again, maybe blue tack behind would be a really good idea. Just make sure you do not stab your fingers or your mother's table when you're putting in the little holes. In fact, actually, it's far better to get an adult to do that. You need one at each corner. And then we thread through. You need 2 pieces of string or wool. This is wool actually.
Wool.
Exactly the same length. Just double them up and make sure they're the same length because that'll make it easier in the long run. You set your wool on top and just guide it through with the scissors. You don't need to thread it with a needle. You can thread it with a needle, but you know it'll go through just as easily with the scissors. There we are. And you just tie a little knot at the bottom of your thread. Don't tie your knot too tightly because the bigger the knot, the more likely it is not to fall through. So that's one. And you go right over the top to the opposite one on the opposite side and slide that through, push through your wool. There we are, it's out the other side, and we just do a knot. And again, you've got one now, one loop. You need to do the other one. So again, just pushing the...
There we go.
So there we are, we have added our string and we have our robin on our bird table. And it's swinging about quite beautifully. Now all we have to add is the little fat balls. And to do that, we turn it upside down. Again, very carefully cut just a little slit near the centre of the bird table. And you just feed the paper through. That one's broader on one, whoops daisy, that's broader on one side than another, so we'll make it a little bit thinner, just a little bit thinner, just to feed the paper through. So we feed it through, like so, and stick it down with a little bit of masking tape, which has disappeared from me. So leave it sitting like that for a second. And just a little bit of masking tape, and again you can cover the masking tape with the brown paint so that you can't see it. So, there we are, and let's hang it up and see what we've made. Ta-da! There we are. What do you think? Not too bad.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing what you can do with just a little bit of paper. It's lovely to hang these things just in the window. And it's always a reminder to feed the birds and become our guardians of our universe. You can do that by feeding the birds. Now, just as a little added interlude, we have a spelling bird. Most of you will be able to spell bird, but some little people will not be able to spell bird. And now, because you're not at school, or some of you won't be at school, you can learn with our toucan, our special bird toucan, to learn to spell bird.
Everybody, where's toucan? Toucan! Where's toucan? Where's our spelling toucan? Oh, there he is! Toucan, I hear that you have learnt a little song. Are you going to sing it for us? Oh, good! Let's hear the toucan song. I'm going to go a little bit closer to you, toucan. There you are. I see you very clearly. What a marvellous bird you are. Are we ready, toucan? Yes, good, good. And the song goes like this. B-I-R-D, bird, bird, bird. B-I-R-D, peck, peck, peck. B-I-R-D, tweet, tweet, tweet. B-I-R-D, bird. B-I-R-D, hop, hop, hop. B-I-R-D, flap, flap, flap. B-I-R-D, fly, fly, fly. B-I-R-D, bird. Woo! Well done, toucan. That's a really clever song. That's fantastic. Can we see your whole body? I know you're hiding. You're a shy toucan. Oh, there he is. That's a very shy toucan. But he's coming out to say hello. I think we should give him a big round of applause. You! Thank you, toucan. Toucan, can you spell bird? B-I-R-D, bird. Thank you. Fantastic.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone. There's our bird table. Our little birds all say bye.